All right, Coach. Was Seattle, the pass rate on early downs has just exploded. I think they were last in the NFL 2 years ago. Now they pass more than anybody. I think they call it let Russ cook and all that's going on over there. Have you ever prepared for a team with similar personnel that has so drastically changed their offensive approach?
Off topic, I'm sure there has been. It's surprising. Usually, Pete has been much more deliberate in letting the game roll, and uh, uh, I don't want to. I don't know if it's called more controlled and managed or not, because they're still managing the game, but it's definitely a different approach than what we're used to seeing out of Seattle with control the clock, take care of the football, run, stay ahead of the chains, and all that stuff. So, but Russell's doing it, man. He's an unbelievable talent. They've got unbelievable wide receivers. Their O-line's blocking at a very high rate, and so with that comes a lot of yards, explosives, and points. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Hey, Robert. How do you feel about your guys' dime defense right now, and the fact that Jimmy Ward and K1 might be back? How will that help against Seattle?
Uh, it goes week to week based on how we want to use personnel and who's available to us. So we feel very good about that back end and being able to utilize all their different tools and what they're able to bring to the table. So it's a week to week thing. We feel great about our linebackers. Whether it's Quan Alexander and Greenlaw or Fred, we feel like we match up with people in the back end better than anyone in the league. And so, based on week to week game plan, we can utilize every one of them.
Hey, Robert, what do you recall about when Jordan Willis came through before the 2017 draft? And what's your scouting report on him? And do you think that he'll get in for a few snaps on Sunday?
We'll see how the rest of the week goes to answer the last part of your question. But, coming out of 2017, felt, he was a very productive player in college. A lot of speed, explosiveness, length, and all that stuff. Obviously, we weren't able to land him or anything. But, just throughout his career so far, not to say that he hasn't been used properly, because he's such a versatile athlete that you can use him any which way. He's just going to have the opportunity to do something that he hasn't done. He's played outside linebacker. He's stood up. He's dropped in coverage. He's played some defensive end, different than the type of defensive end. It's a different technique that we'll teach him here. But, he's going to get an opportunity to just let loose and get off the ball and rush the passer and set edges and play to the style that we play. And you never know. Hopefully it clicks for him. But he's going to get every opportunity. And when we feel like he's ready to roll, he'll be ready to roll. So.
Hey, Robert, during the broadcast on Sunday, Tony Romo quoted you or maybe paraphrased you as saying that as long as you had Fred Warner, you feel like you always have a chance. What is it about him that makes you believe that to be the case?
Fred is a million times now I've said it. He is one of the smarter players in football, especially at the linebacker position, in terms of being able to make different calls that puts a lot of stress on him to put us in the right call, based on formations, based on different things that we see from a formation standpoint, all without disrupting his ability to recognize the formation, recognize the D&D, recognize the situation, and still be able to play at a very, very high level. There's always that fine balance. You could always go overboard. We've done it with Fred before, where we put a lot on his plate. It was last year, Thursday Night Football versus Arizona. We put a ton on his plate. And to this day, that was a tremendous learning experience on what that limit is for Fred. And so always communicating between the two of us and with D'Amico to make sure that his plate is perfectly balanced. But you can do a lot with Fred in terms of just getting people where they need to be. And on top of it, him being able to use all his athleticism, because he is one of the more athletic linebackers in football also, along with being one of the smartest. It just makes for a player who's got a lot of range, and a lot of ability to man the middle of the field.
Hey, Robert, you've lost so many key players, key starters from your defense, and yet you're still one of the best defenses in the league right now. Can you give a layman's response as to why or how that's happening?
It goes back to the men in the room, and by men in the room, I'm talking about the players. They work so hard. They're so deliberate in their approach. Every rep matters. Every clip they watch matters. Every practice rep matters, and they're very, very talented. It is a very, very talented group. And after the Miami game, I know there was a lot of heat going around for everybody, and sat right at this table and said that the men in that room know they're a top 10, top 5 defense, and they're going to prove it. And they're out there playing their tails off like they have always played. And aside from one hiccup, I feel like they've been playing some great football, and the challenge is for them to continue to do it. And so it's hats off to them and the way they've gone about their business every single day since the beginning of the year.
Robert, have you seen a quarterback put together a stretch throwing a deep ball like Russell Wilson has so far this season? And also, when you have corners who aren't the biggest guys, what are the coaching points when you go up against a downfield threat the size of DK Metcalf?
To answer the first question on Russell, I've always felt that he's one of the better quarterbacks this league's ever had. That's just my opinion. I do think he's going to end up in the Hall of Fame one day. I probably speak for a lot of people when I say that. The man is phenomenal. He gets better every year, believe it or not. I mean, his deep ball is the best in football. He's finally got the weapons to answer it. I shouldn't say finally. He's had them before. I know there was some growing pains there in the last few years, but now he's got Lockett playing at a high level. He's got DK over there to relieve some stress off Tyler so he can free up. Their tight ends are dynamic. Carson, we'll see if he plays this week, but he's an unbelievable back. So they've got a tremendous amount of talent around them, and their O-line is the best it's been in a while. So they're tooled up, and there's a reason why they're tops in football. And then, of course, hats off to the OC Shoddy. He's built a system there that fits their style, and they've got something going that's pretty good right now. So to answer your question on DK, when you got a big boy like that, you just got to play with great technique. Can't panic at the catch point. Just know that he's going to try to muscle you and not necessarily go blow for blow. But if you play with great technique, great vision, and you don't panic at the catch point, we feel like we'll be okay.
Hey, Robert, you were there when Russell just got into the NFL. Obviously, a very accomplished college quarterback and all that, so it's not like a huge surprise that he's had success. But, I mean, did you have any inkling he'd become what he is right now, his rookie or second season?
So I tell this story sometimes. I'll give it to y'all, but it was, we drafted him. Obviously, I was on the defense side of the ball, didn't know anything about anything, to be honest with you, but it was rookie minicamp, and I swear to you, the first time he threw the football, he was one of those guys that you just had to look at no one was looking at defense, no one was looking at the O-line, everyone was just looking at the quarterback. And at that point, I was like, man, this guy's going to be pretty damn good. Fast forward, we go to training camp, and, he's just plugging away. And every time he's on the football field, everyone's watching. At least I know I am. I'm just watching the quarterback. And towards the middle of that first training camp, you just go to dinner, and he's just sitting there, and all the O-linemen are around him. The players, people are just gravitating to him. And it was at that point, and Coach Carroll started him that third preseason game, and he puts up an astronomical number for our standard at the time, the Seahawks standard at the time. And it was at that point we're like, damn, we got something special. And so it happened fast, but it showed his growth from rookie minicamp to the first game of the year, and then even that first year. I mean, the guy is relentless in his studying. He's relentless in work ethic. He's relentless in trying to improve every single day, and he's got such a positive, aggressive mindset. There's a reason why he's had the success he's had, and I'm not going to pretend like I ever thought he'd be a Hall of Famer, but knew he'd be pretty damn good.
Do 3 more for Coach?
Robert, when news came out last week that both of your starting safeties would miss the Patriots game, it seemed like that might cost you the game. Clearly it didn't. Your defense was great, and it seemed like Tavarius Moore and Marcel Harris both made plays. How would you assess their play, and did your defense fall off in ways that the layman would notice without your starting safety?
I thought they did a really good job. They played within the scheme. They did their job. Obviously, there's always going to be things that they can clean up, but I'll give hats off over to Coach Oden and Daniel Bullocks and Rudy. I thought they did a really good job on such short notice because of the way Jimmy had to go out. It was Thursday night, and so they had basically Friday, Saturday to really crash course with Timor and get him as many reps as he can. Saturday walkthrough was designed to get those guys as many of the looks that they'd get. It was really focused on those two safeties, and to their credit, they did such a good job. The safeties, talking about Timor and Marcel, preparing for that game and making sure that they were on their job. And now that they've had another week, it's not to make anything up, but continue to do what they're doing and stay within the scheme and do their job and trust that if they do their job, they'll show up and they'll make plays because they are still gifted athletes.
Robert, we're almost halfway through this season. How has Javon Kinlaw developed, and how much are you putting on his plate as he continues on through his first season?
I don't know if he's getting his normal from a putting on his plate standpoint. He's getting normal workload and all that stuff. He's progressing like I would expect a rookie to progress. He is grinding through every wall that you can possibly grind through. We feel like he's done a really nice job in the run game, and obviously he still has a ways to go to improve and all that stuff. But he's just got to continue to get better. It's not always going to be clean, especially at this stage. He's learning something new every single game. I think it was a couple games ago he had some opportunities in pass rush, and a couple of them we talked about it, and he knew exactly what happened. He's like, man, I wish I would have. And that all comes with time and experience. And so for Javon, it's to continue to stay the course, continue to find ways to get better. But what's encouraging about him is he's recognizing when he could have done better on a play, and you're not seeing the same mistake twice. And if you have a player who can recognize things that happen that quickly, he doesn't need to go to the film room. He just knows it happened. When they're able to recognize it on the fly like that and make a in-game adjustment, you know that those players have a chance to be very special. And so for him, it's just to continue to get better, continue to focus on all those little details, and he's gonna be a good one. I can mark my words on that one.
Last one.
I know that coaches hate comparing players, but Fred Warner's been open in saying that he watches Bobby Wagner, he emulates Bobby Wagner. You have insight into both of those guys. When you look at Fred Warner, do you see aspects of Bobby Wagner's game? Can you kind of recognize the fact that Fred watches him closely?
Yeah, B-swag, and he's still putting together a lot of good film. I mean, he's one of the better linebackers this league's had. Bobby coming out, I mean, his athleticism, his length, his speed, it was freakish. And I thought Kenny Norton and the relationship that they built to really help Bobby understand football and turn into the player that he turned into, his instincts, his command of the huddle, his run past recognition and all that stuff. Bobby went off the charts over his first few years, and that's what you're seeing out of Fred. They're very, very similar in that they've got tremendous respect and command of the huddle. They've got tremendous instincts and feel for plays and run key and pass recognition and all that stuff. And they understand football, and they have such a great feel for rush and coverage and routes and concepts and all that stuff, and where the quarterback wants to go with the football. And that's what makes those two so special. And so, yeah, there's similarities for sure. They might be built a little bit differently, but the mental makeup of both of them is damn near identical.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Faithful, don't forget to click here to subscribe to our YouTube.